Hey, Tim Sykes here. I hope you're having a good holiday weekend. I just wanted to go over two specific stocks that I'm watching for next week so that you can really follow along and understand what my thought process is, why I'm actually long one of them, which is THLD, which I bought at, what was it, 118. So I'm up a few cents a share after hours. And then REN also, which is a little too expensive for me to trade. I don't trade $20 stocks, but I want to go over those patterns. First, let me just explain the biggest thing that's happening to me and to you right now is my Trader Checklist DVD, which finally came out on Friday. I'm sorry for the delay. It took a little while for my team and I to be ready for the onslaught because, in case you've been living under a rock, Trader Checklist is entirely free. And this is the first time I've ever done a massive project like this and just giving it away. But I wanted you guys to have this information. As you'll see in upcoming watch lists, trade alerts, commentary, video lessons, I am going to be grading stocks on a scale of 0 to 100. And this scale, what I call the Sykes sliding scale, is detailed in this Trader Checklist DVD. So please, please, please watch this guide. It is 11 hours. Actually, I just added another chapter. It's 11 and a half hours, but it is so useful. It is 100% free, so there is no risk. You have no excuse not to study it. If you don't study it, it's just basically saying that you don't want to learn and you just want hot stock picks and you don't care about the thought process or the preparation, which I think is the wrong way to be. So thank you guys for the feedback already. So many of you guys are so dedicated. Dylan is loving it after 30 minutes. Derek has watched 2 hours, and then Danny Boy is insane, and he's watched 10 straight hours. But I'm glad that you guys are liking it. More of you, I can't even keep up with all the testimonials already, but David, I love this, says it's one of the best educational DVDs since he started. Keone says that I lay out the need to know foundations for traders, and I agree. Raphael says freaking awesome, so thank you. Cheers from Venezuela. I need to go there. That's one of the few countries I haven't visited yet. Joshua says he's just starting, and then Brandon says one of my best, full of substance and extremely informative. Halfway through, watched several times. Good. I want you to understand that this is real. Some people think like, oh, you're just going to tell us that it's free and then there's going to be some kind of upsell or some kind of sales tactic. No. No sales tactic, no BS, no upsell. You go to traderchecklist.com, you fill out your name, you fill out your email, and it is free. I'm crazy, okay? There's no other way to explain it. Also, I just want you to understand this psych sliding scale as I introduce it all the time. No longer will stocks just be buy, sells, or shorts. They're going to be graded on a scale of 0 to 100. And I think this is so necessary for you to realize that stock trading and stock picking and preparation is not as simple as some of you think. Sometimes you see like a contract winner and the stock doesn't spike, and I get an email, Tim, this was such a great contract winner. Why didn't it spike? Well, news is only one of the 7 key indicators that I use. So this DVD does a whole guide on addressing that. So let me just explain these two stocks that I'm watching, which is REN and THLD. I'll go with THLD first just because it's a smaller company. It's a dollar stock roughly, and I think this one has more upside than REN, but we'll see. So here is my little psych sliding scale. It spells out the word prepare. I know it's cute, right? So if we are going to judge different tickers, different stocks on their merits, this is what I do. Let me actually copy and paste this formula here so that it's just adding up these 7 indicators and it creates a total value of the potential trade. It's not an exact science. I could be wrong, but I do believe it's useful. So pattern and price on a scale of 1 to 20. And again, watch the Trader Checklist DVD if you have any questions. I know many of you guys are leaving comments in the video lessons like, how do you decide what's 1 versus 20? Watch the DVD. That's why I'm giving it away free, so that I don't get these questions. But you do have to study. just commit a few hours to studying this. This is not rocket science. This is not anything totally complex. I think it's just a good push in the right direction to help you understand and how to analyze different trades and potential trades. So THLD, the pattern and the price. Let's look at THLD. It does have this big death drop several months ago, which I absolutely hate. But since then, it's actually been building a nice little base. Let's go out even further, 2 years. I mean, this death drop is pretty evident. The good news is when you have a gap down like this and stocks actually try to come back, they actually have a tendency to fill the gap. Now, I don't know if this stock is going to double from the 120s to the 250s. That's kind of a little tall task to ask for. But you do see what happens is gaps get filled eventually, although it might take some time. You know, here, like this was a big gap down, and it came down, and it tried to come back, and then it failed. So don't expect necessarily that the gaps are going to be filled, but they will try and make an attempt to come back. And this is a nice breakout. This is the main reason why I bought it. It's a nice breakout over this 118 level. I bought it at 118, not at a random level, but because if you look at the 14-day chart, it spiked right here to 120. And you can see here it tried and failed here at 115. Tried here in 112, failed, 112, 1 failed, 115 failed. And it goes up to 125. This is a breakout. But I don't necessarily want to chase this stock because here it spiked, failed, here it spiked, failed, here it spiked, failed. So you also have to be kind of just cynical about this initial morning spike. The good news is that it held the breakout all day on strong volume, 20 million shares traded. So when it's holding this breakout level above 115 really, and you can see here it actually tapped 115 for a few minutes before bouncing. That's a good sign, and that makes me think that it's going to, hang around this 120 level, maybe retest 125, and if it can break 125, which it did after hours, 130s, 140s are possible. That's all I want out of this. So just reviewing the pattern and the price, I think this is a pretty good pattern. It's not perfect. It is a breakout. It's a game of pennies. So you do have the death drop to consider. So I'll give this a 15 out of 20. Risk reward, when I'm buying it at 118, my risk is if I'm wrong, I'm going to get out at 115. So I might lose 3 cents a share. If the breakout fails, that's my risk. The upside, if I'm right, let's say best case scenario, it'll go to 140. So roughly 22 cents of upside and 3 cents of downside. That's pretty damn good. So I'm going to give this a 20 on risk reward. Ease of entry and exit, I mean, I can get in and out with like a penny. It's very easy. So I'll give this a 10. Past performance and history of spiking, this one loses because it hasn't really held its spikes in the past. So I'm going to give this a 3. What time is it? Personal schedule. So this one is all about me aiming for a morning spike. Morning spikes are the hottest pattern right now. And here is what a morning spike looked like. It went from 105 to 125 all in, 20 minutes. The rest of the day, I mean, it held its gains and it's uptrending after hours, but the morning spike is the key. Morning spikes are hot right now. What time is it? My personal schedule. I am ready for this morning spike. Hopefully on Tuesday, we will see. It might even be pre-market. I don't know. But I will give this a 20 because it is the right pattern. Reason catalyst, not so much. It doesn't exist. So I'll give it a 2. At least it's it's in the right biotech industry, but that's not very good. Market environment for morning spikes is very good. So it's an 80 out of 100. That's pretty good. It's not like perfect, but it's well within my range. If you watch the Trader Checklist DVD, I want to take trades 70 to 100. So the main reason is the risk reward. If I'm right about the morning spike, I might make 10 cents, I might make 15, I might make 20, I might make 30 cents. And the risk, if it fails at all, I lose a few cents a share. That's what it comes down to. Obviously, anything can happen news-wise, but I can't predict that. Just based on the pure chart and price action and breakout, my risk is very minimal. So I'm already up a few cents a share. That's a good sign. Now let's get to Ren. Ren is the trade I did not take. I was considering it. I said it in the chat room because this is a multi-day breakout over the highs here. You might have noticed a lot of negativity from short sellers claiming that this run-up was unjustified. For me, I stayed away from the short because guess what? It's an earnings winner, and I've learned that earnings winners can go further than you think. There's a lot of short sellers out there who are very short-sighted and very narrow-minded. They think any stock that goes up this much is junk. If you look at the fundamentals, it's junk. Oh, they're going to do an offering, it's junk. Well, guess what, short-selling liars? It's just made a new high, and all of you shorts have been wrong the entire time. Now, I can say this, I can be aggressive with short sellers because I used to be one, purely thinking all about shorts. Now I've learned from my past narrow-mindedness and opened myself up and recognized that yes, most of these stocks are junk, but when they spike in reaction to earnings, you must respect those kinds of gains. I know you don't like the fundamentals. You want to make a value case that this thing is overvalued. I don't care about any of that. I have learned in over 18 years to respect the reaction to earnings. It's that simple. If you want to disagree with me, that's fine. I have 18 years of data backing me up. What do you have? So it's an earnings winner. That's fantastic. That said, earnings winners have not really been spiking that much. Out of every single earnings spiker in the market in the past quarter, I would venture to say that REN was the single strongest. So it's good for Ren, but it's not that great of a pattern right now. Morning spikes, I think, are actually a more reliable pattern. So if we're going to judge Ren based on pattern and price, it does not have the morning spike kind of potential that I think THLD has. I mean, REN does spike in the morning, but not like huge percentage-wise. The biggest gain, you had a little spike here from like 18 to 19, but the biggest spike happened in the afternoon and then the short squeeze into the close. Compare that to THLD, where it did most of its spiking, in fact, all of its spiking, in the morning. So you must compare the difference. REN, pattern, and price, I mean, it is a breakout. You do have to give Ren the benefit of the doubt because it's a breakout over 20. And short sellers are just so screwed. I don't even know what they're thinking. I mean, that's like shorting it right here. Like, oh, it's at $9. It just broke $8. It's overvalued. And then it goes to 20. You are some of the worst short sellers I have ever seen, those of you who are shorting this kind of a breakout. Now, granted, it might be overvalued, and this very well could be the top, and you might be right. But I would never, ever short a pattern like this. You are just begging for damage to your account. And I don't know what kind of short sellers there are these days. Maybe because I kind of left that niche, a lot of you guys need guidance. Well, I'm here to wake you up from your slumber because this is not a pattern that you necessarily want to short. Okay, you had like $4 of downside here, but for all the negativity that I've seen from all these, quote, wannabe short sellers, it's just pathetic. So pattern and price, I'm not emotional about it at all, as you can tell. Pattern and price, I'll give this a 12. It's a breakout, but it's high priced and it's not necessarily for me. Risk reward, I mean, it is a breakout, again, over 20, so you have to respect breakouts, but it could also be a fake out breakout, and it's pricey given the fundamentals. So I will give this another 12. Ease of entry and exit, it does not move penny by penny. It moves very fast. So if you are right or wrong, be prepared to lose 20, 30 cents a share. So that is quite a bit of risk, and it does not make the trade as easy as THLD, as in my mind. So I will give this a 5. Past performance history of spiking. Well, you have the nice earnings spike. Let's go back into the past. It also has this big drop. It's not quite a death drop like THLD had with a big gap down, but it's pretty steady. It really has not been spiking in quite a while. So this is probably why all the short sellers are excited. They're like, but it always goes down. Well, guess what? You're wrong this time. I'll give this also, I'll give it a 5. It's not quite a 3 because it doesn't have the big gap down, but it's not good. At what time of day is it? Personal schedule. I'm filming this over the long holiday weekend, so this would be for a morning spike, which is possible. But again, as we've seen, this stock does not always move just in the morning. It moves, especially in the afternoon when shorts are getting squeezed. So I would give this 12 out of 20. Reason catalyst, I mean, it's a short squeeze, and it's also an earnings winner. So I'll give this a 6. At least it has something, but it's not like news. Actually, I'm going to change it to a 5. In market environment, it's an energy play, but it is a breakout. I mean, it's good for longs, I guess. I'll give it a 7. So this one came out to a 58. And now you see why I went long THLD and not REN, even though they are both breakouts. So this is what is so important here. If you look at just the chart, let me show you here. Actually, 14-day chart. If you look at just the chart, it's a nice breakout above $20 a share, where it actually triple topped. And look at this. It broke out and came down to $20 a share. So you had 2 opportunities to buy the breakout. That's a beautiful breakout. That said, if you look at all the other factors, it's just not as highly ranked as THLD. So some of you guys email me like, hey, Tim, THLD and REN both have the same 14-day chart breakout. This is REN, and here is THLD. Same breakout, right? But different when you look at these other indicators. This is why my Trader Checklist DVD is so important for you to watch. If you just look at breakouts, if you just look at one indicator rather than 7, you don't understand why I'm in THLD and not in REN. And you don't see the difference. So it's very, 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 very important for you to watch my Trader Checklist guide so that you can kind of figure this out, because I do these video lessons and I kind of, run through these 7 indicators pretty quickly just because this is already nearly a 20-minute video. But if you want to understand the backstory of each of these indicators, you will go to traderchecklist.com and watch the DVD. Those of you attending my Orlando conference next weekend, please, please, please watch this Trader Checklist DVD ahead of time. This is your homework. My presentation is going to make a lot more sense. My trading on Monday the 12th, my live trading is going to make a whole lot more sense if you watch this DVD. This is why I wanted to get this out before my conference, and I've been pushing my team, and this is why it's 100% free. So you have no excuse not to watch it. I know some of you are like, but it's so expensive, my education. Well, you can't use that excuse anymore. So if you don't watch this, if you don't understand my grading system, the only answer is that you are lazy and you are not willing to set aside a few hours to learn from my 18 years of experience. So this DVD is also a test to separate those who are serious about their education and those who aren't. Price is not an object anymore. You cannot use that as an excuse. So many of you do. So many of you be like, oh, I don't want to spend any money on learning anything new. And I don't know, you don't have that voice. That's just the voice I give you when you complain about education, because too many people don't value their education. But this is 100% free. And this is part of the reason why I released it free, so that you can watch this and then you can better understand when I do, stock analysis. From now on, every single watch list, every single video lesson, every single alert is going to have a grade in front of it, 0 to 100, okay? And I don't want to see any emails from people being like, what does this 80 mean? What does this 43 mean? It's all explained in the DVD that you are too lazy to watch. So watch it. Do not be lazy. I'm really excited to grade all of these stocks, not just stocks that I'm trading, but stocks that I potentially could trade, or stocks that I choose not to trade because maybe they're ranked in the 50s, even though you don't realize it at first. So that's my spiel for today. I hope you have a good rest of your weekend, and I'm excited to see how these stocks play out. This is not to say that REN will not do better than THLD. This is not an exact science. I could easily be wrong on any trade, but I think THLD has the number and the indicators that lead me to believe that it can spike more. So we'll see. Thank you very much.